Hi everyone. So I'm ready to bring you your weekly astrological transits. This week we're going from the 9th to the 14th because the 8th is the solar eclipse, and I've already done that video, so I will link it below. Try to remember. But anyway, this week the moon is traveling through late degrees of Aries, of course, because the solar eclipse came in at 19 degrees, so it'll be coming in after that, the day after 20 some degrees, and then it's going to go through to Cancer. But on the way, it makes so many aspects to all these other planets, and we end the week with next Sunday the 14th with a grand cross actually going on. So can't wait to talk about that. So anyway, let me just bring over my table and we'll go through one chart at a time. Okay, hold on. Okay, so just in case you skipped past the intro, I'm starting this week with April 9th with Tuesday, because Monday was the solar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse. That's redundant. Solar eclipses are always new moons, but anyway, that video was done a couple weeks ago, and I will try my best to remember to link it below. If I forget, please yell at me. So anyway, this is the week we're coming off of the solar eclipse. So I set it for 4:23 a.m. On Tuesday, because that is when the moon, actually, hold on, gotta fix this, it ain't right, there we go, 4:24 a.m. When the moon has moved into Taurus. So it's in a square to Pluto. So this could be a little bit of power struggle in the morning. Uranus, not Uranus, but Pluto in Aquarius, it kind of brings in the Uranian input there, the connection. And with that, I feel like it's possible that there's, besides squares always bring in challenges, but the challenges can turn into strengths, but they initiate decisions being made. So if this is a relationship issue, it might be that morning that you wake up and maybe you got some guidance in dream time, or maybe you wake up really early to go pee and it's like, oh, that was a weird dream. But then you're realizing later when you're up this morning and, getting ready, you're thinking about, man, I've really been through a lot with this relationship. And yes, you may have come into more of your power, right? Because of the challenge. Because when somebody is always challenging you, coming from the other side, if they think they're all this and that, and a bag of chips, and you've been putting up with it for quite some time, when the moon hits Taurus, when the moon hits your eye, no, God. Sometimes in Taurus, it's like, okay, I am done. You hit a wall, right? Because Taurus, most of all, on the emotional level, on the feeling level, is a place of being very faithful to yourself. They don't like being rushed. They don't like being pushed. Anybody with a lot of Taurus in their charts, they have their own way of doing things at their own pace, and they do not want to be interrupted, and they do not want to be messed with. So if there has been a lot of interruption and displays of power and just control issues coming from someone else, this is not a good morning for that person. Or it might not be a good morning for you if you have a lot of Taurian placements, especially because, imagine you have it down here in the later degrees, and, we're having the Jupiter conjunct Uranus. I've done that. I did that video yesterday. That's uploaded with all the timestamps. I went through everything with that video. So I won't talk too much about it here because you can go there. And we'll save some time for this week. But just suffice to say that things are being shaken up with all Taurus signs. So if you have early degree Taurus placements, you've already been going through the shakeups, and now Jupiter's coming in there and helping to heal. Those old shocks and those old detaching from relationships that had to go, or maybe opening to new relationships and they didn't work out. Things like that. Jupiter's coming in to help heal all of that. So I'm not sure, with your Taurian placements, what degree it's at. I just have to, let you know there that there's a real possibility that there's something much better coming in for you, and you've just had it with this other stuff here. Now, Pluto in Aquarius would be more of a passive-aggressive type of behavior when it comes to trying controlling someone. Now, passive aggression is still a form of aggression. And what happens is that the person winds up feeling rejected, and people go the other way, and they can't figure out why. Why doesn't anybody like me? Well, maybe it's because you're just an asshole, right? Maybe they're tired of your passive-aggressive behavior. Maybe they're tired of the way that you're not there, and you run away, and you reject, and you don't come into your own truth, and things like that, right? So there could be something like this that comes to a head this morning. So that's just on one level. On another level, for some people, because Taurus again is related to, your principles, and you want to be, faithful to yourself. With the square to Pluto, this is a real opening, even though it can be challenging, but a real opening to come into your own power. And now with Pluto and Aquarius, you're seeing things from a much higher, much bigger perspective, right? Because we've been through all those years, 15 years or so with Pluto and Capricorn, and we've seen it all, right? And now we're so done on the emotional levels, but it's a good time to hang in there for justice. And that is especially the case when it comes to Saturn and Mars. Look how close together they are. A little bit less than 1 degree. That's amazing. So we have Mars conjunct Saturn. So the energy is moving towards, again, it doesn't matter if it's Aquarius or Pisces, it's a bigger perspective, right? It's all encompassing when it's Pisces. And we have these two inconjuncts connecting back to the South Node, which has to do, in Libra, has to do with justice and fairness and equality, but also relationships. So there could be adjustments to the way we relate, because now we're coming from the perspective with Mars. Remember, Mars is our planet that will get us to fight. It motivates us. It helps us to achieve something in our lives. And in the sign of Pisces, this can be healing. This can be, including a much, much broader perspective in life that helps you to really ground into your spiritual foundation. So that's why I'm saying anybody tries to mess with you this week, I'm thinking that they are going to hit a wall, right? Because it's like, I ain't be having this no more. Homie, don't play that game. Right? So if you can relate, give me a high five or a hands up there. Let me know how it's been for you. Let's see, what else? So we've covered the moon there. This perspective on the political side, this could have to do with a whole lot of cult followers, and you know who we're talking about, feeling much more motivated to be hooked in even further with this like government gullibility, or the gullibility of a person that's supposed to be the leader of the GOP. The dude can't even fucking lead his own damn life, and you telling me he's going to lead the country? I don't think so. So there could be some major awareness. Pardon my French for that, but I can't blame it on the French. That's my own word. with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, with the trine coming up to Ceres, and look how tight it is that Ceres is coming in. Now, Ceres will go retrograde in a little bit, so we want to work this energy the best we can. It's still in the T-square of the nodes, and it's connecting over here with, Chiron. And so that's bringing in the ability to make decisions that can bring through your greater gifts. If you can be really present with yourself and not be so impulsive, don't go into self-judgment at all when somebody's first, or if you're feeling left out. Trust your instincts and just go forward at your own pace. Sometimes you'll go really far, really fast, and other times it'll be slow, and that's okay. Whatever your pace is best for you. So focus in to heal the Chiron in Aries. The healing with that, the deeper wounding is being separated from yourself, but the healing is to always come back to yourself, always belong to yourself. And that will heal everything. If you put yourself, your feelings first, and that doesn't mean that you push out any energy to anyone else. It just means that you're with yourself. You stay with yourself. Stay present with yourself. And then opening to the other. If you're present with yourself while you open to the other, then they're not going to feel invaded. And you're going to be in that, awesome place of balance. We're talking about balancing out polarities here. You're healing the us versus them kind of a duality. If you've come in with Chiron in Aries, maybe making them a pattern of, making them more important. And now that you're having, let's say you're between 50 and 53, and you're starting to have, or you're through your Chiron return, the lesson there has to do with including yourself in the other, and including the other in yourself sometimes, so you're not polarized with one or the other. It's always about the balance. And so then back up here with sticking with Ceres. Remember, Ceres is our maternal imprint. She's the energy that we use in our lives to nurture ourselves, take care of ourselves, take care of those that we love. Has everything to do with all types of food and farming and agriculture. And, she's the primo dwarf planet. Just like Pluto's a dwarf planet and Eris is a dwarf planet. I don't include the asteroids because I just don't think they're... I did it for 20 years and always found that you could always hook the energy back into the personal planets, and it didn't make sense to me to give asteroids so much power. It brings in just redundancy, was my experience. But dwarf planets, that's another, these are planetary bodies. So with Ceres, notice how it's at 17. It's going to soon will be in an exact, actually it is on the 20th, because I'm remembering the chart. I don't have it. Wait, hold on. Maybe I do. Oh, yipper-do. Okay. If you can see... Ceres is here at 1951, and the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is at 2149. So it doesn't move very quickly there. So we're at 17 degrees. It's going to move 2 degrees, in about 10 days, 11 days. So, but Jupiter keeps moving too. That's the deal. But anyhow, the trine from Ceres to Jupiter and Uranus brings through, this connection of these three planetary bodies, brings through the nurturing ability. And then sometimes for some people, it's going to be reversals of fortune and grief and separation from the things that could nurture them in the future. And I think you know who I'm talking about. Someone who just keeps losing money, gets money from people and then loses it, makes agreements, and then they renege on the agreement. Basically, hemorrhaging money everywhere he goes. So anyway, but for us, for you guys, this can be a really graceful, easy flow of energy between these two earthly, when we have Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, of course, this is all about building and expanding new ways of making money for us. And with Ceres, it's going to be something that you don't mind working hard for because it's in Capricorn. We don't mind working hard for it. We're willing, we're focusing in on, we have goals that we want to accomplish. And so we are making plans and working with the nuts and bolts. And it could be that you've been doing that for so long, and now there's just a quick flow that comes through, some big breakthrough for you. So wherever this is in your chart, you'd want to look at those houses. Excuse me. So Ceres will go retrograde in May. It won't be until May 14th, and it'll go when it goes retrograde. It'll actually have made it to 21 degrees, and when it retrogrades back, it'll go all the way back to 7 degrees. So it's going to cover all this territory that we've already gone through. And so by August the 26th, we will have Ceres back at 7 degrees of Capricorn, and then it'll, station direct, sit there for a little bit, just for a bit. And then, excuse me, I need to get some water. A second. Oh, that's better. Had this weird experience of I had a couple days of 70, almost up to 80 degrees. And then last night I woke up and there's snow on the ground. It's like, what? So I had to have the heater on. Whenever I have the heater on in the mornings, it bugs me. Even though I have air purifiers and I change my filter every 3 months, it still just bugs me. I guess it's the dryness. So anywho, back to Ceres. It'll station direct at 7 degrees, and then I'll start going forward, and it'll cross all the way over, and it'll have to get back over to that 21 degree point. So we're going to have a good few months of going back over the same ground that we already covered. Starting next month, about exactly a month apart. And so again, going in, when it retrogrades, it'll be going, deeper into the areas we already covered. And when it makes it back over to the 21 degree point, then we're coming from that place of deepening our lessons. In the second decan, we've been with the 17 degrees, so anything between 10 and 19 degrees, if any sign, all these planets and all the signs, at the degrees. The 0 to 9 degree point is developing foundations. The 10 to 19 degree juncture is learning lessons, and so that's where we are now. But it'll just get into that 21 degree point where we're starting to deepening, and then we're going to have to go back and go, oh, no, wait, we can do better. We can always do better, but we're going to be going even deeper and refining and working things out. And Uranus is just going to, it doesn't move that fast. It takes 7 years to get through one sign. So, yeah, it'll connect again. It'll hook back up to this point again. Ceres will. So this is the first trine there. I think that it is. I'm sure it's the first trine that we're connecting with there to Jupiter and Uranus. Now Jupiter will move over and be into Gemini. Oh my goodness, I can't remember when. I looked it up yesterday. It's this year. I think it might be May. I think it is. I think it's May. No, that can't be. There's no way. Oh well, I'll let you know later. Don't worry about it. I'll be here next week. Okay. We can see that the sun is at 20 degrees. So this week the sun will go from 20 degrees to about 26 degrees of Aries. So we are firmly in that last decan of deepening and blooming and blossoming with all the lessons that we've learned over the last month. And or over your whole lifetime, right? Because things just keep going around and moving, and we always have chances for healing every single moment. So with Mercury retrograde, you can see how any of the planets, right now it's only Mercury. We don't count the nodes because they're just points in space. They're not planetary bodies. They are the nodes of the moon. But anyway, with the sun, Mercury here, see how it's in red? That's the way this program works. And any planet that's retrograde is in red. So you can see all the planets are still direct except for Mercury. And you know, that's normally Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year and lasts for about 3 to 3.5 weeks. So it's moving backwards towards the sun, and the sun is moving towards Mercury. So this week is all about new forms of learning, new forms of communication, and lots of news dumps coming out. It's really important to keep up on the news, but you might get overwhelmed, right? Now, then again, because it's in that third decan, what's coming out on the news, I'm thinking, will be information about what we've already been sitting with or what we've been waiting for, and now we have something that brings it in and says, oh, there it is. And it won't surprise us because we know what's been going on. But it could be surprising to some, people in cult members, and it might make them separate because they don't like hitting this wall and feeling gullible and going, okay, now this is too much. And, I'm feeling it has something to do with literally proving that Trump is in bed financially with Russians, with Putin, with all these dictators who are transnational money laundering crimers. They're in that ring of just constant crime, human trafficking, all that stuff. Dark, dark, dark stuff. So we can expect new information to come out that way. For us personally, we can expect new insights, new messages coming in. With Jupiter and Uranus here, this is like this connection to divinity, to intuition that expands and grows, and it deepens in the body. This could be empathic abilities coming through, where you think about something and you feel into the energy, and you can tell whether or not that person is either telling the truth or lying, or if it's like not the right way to go. Now, it's just information, right? Mercury, it's just information, and it could be new information, but it could also be confirming what you already felt, what you already thought, what you've already gotten in the past. And so that awareness is deepening and blossoming for you. Because again, Uranus is in that third decan, and Jupiter will be too pretty soon. Like I said, by the 20th, we have both of those planets at 21 degrees. Yeah. Okay, so let's see, what else? We've covered that square. I think that's about it. I mean, Venus is in Aries, but let's talk about that tomorrow, for tomorrow. So Wednesday morning, because I have a couple charts for Wednesday, I set it for 5 a.m. The moon has caught up with Jupiter. So there's an expansive, there's a lot of feeling today, but then this could be an awesome day if you can get some time for any type of body work. I'm not talking about your car. I'm talking about your body. I'm talking about, energy work, hands-on healing, Reiki. I'm talking about massage. Would definitely be, a very sensual thing to do with all this Taurus energy. Anything that helps you slow down. This has this quality of this stellium in Taurus here has the because Jupiter and Uranus have been in Taurus alone, and it's only been the transits of the moon every month that gives us something there, right? So until we move into Taurus season with the sun, this is it. So the moon brings in the energy of wanting to respond to something that makes you feel better, because in Taurus it's all about feeling better, being in your body, slowing down, not rushing. And with Jupiter, you might be really feeling that in a big way, but then the moon, it won't be long before the moon connects with Uranus. You'll see in the next chart. And then things could be kind of a little too much. There could be a little too much energy. So take advantage of this morning for this morning to go as slow as you can, go as slow as you want. It's wonderful to have these, this triple trine up to Ceres. And notice how Ceres has moved ahead 1 degree already. And it's firmly in that second decan of learning lessons, and the lessons are all about how to better take care of your body. It's all about self-care with this transit here. And then we have, notice how with the moon, we have the 2 sextiles up to Mars and Saturn are exactly conjunct, within minutes. And so again, with that, there's working it in the positive. There's a lot of enthusiastic energy to build your spiritual foundation and get it just the way you want. This is all about meditation. There's moving energy here. Saturn is right here and can usually slow things down and limit things, but sometimes that's a good thing because it helps you to really get down into something that's very, very solid, which is inside yourself, your connection to yourself, which connects to your higher self, which connects to your spiritual self, and it's all one. It doesn't get any better than that. So that's really, really wonderful. Now, Venus has moved 1 degree. Venus is it's still a little bit conjunct. It's like almost at that 8 degrees of separation. But with Venus crossing over Neptune, last week we had that wonderful infusion of human love and the spiritual unconditional love together. So we still have that, and that's wonderful. And hopefully with Venus in Aries, we are moving into new territories of being yourself, of wakening up to like an awakening of some new way to assert yourself into, positively into the world. So let's see. I think I'll go ahead to the next chart, because now we have, just wanted to check the time there. It's 1:36 p.m. that we have Mars and Saturn exactly conjunct. And it's still, in that inconjunct quincunx to the South Node. So South Node of the past, relationships, justice, fairness, equality, making adjustments because you can't, the dependency and codependency in relationship isn't working very well anymore. And it's, you're needing to take good care of yourself. And there's all this spiritual guidance coming in to help you go in that direction, whatever it is for you, to help you take better care of yourself. And you can see that the moon is now sandwiched by the afternoon, by 1:36 p.m. The moon is right in the middle of Jupiter and Uranus. So the moon has picked up all that big Jupiter energy and is now headed its way to find something or have an awareness. It could, with Uranus, it could be, this is a very psychic transit right here, right? Okay. The moon is a psychic, the moon moving through all the signs no matter what the degree is, we're still in that place of intuiting something. We're connecting with things. It's about our digestion. It's about our feeling responses and even how we take care of ourselves, all of that. But it needs to make sense sometimes, and with Uranus, it could bring through this big awareness that's like, an epiphany. And you're like, whoa, I never thought of that. So make time today to, with this transit between, Mars conjunct Saturn and the moon in Taurus, hooking up, with Jupiter and then sitting there for a little bit with Uranus, make sure that you give yourself some time today for meditation and for, your manifesting work, your healing work, whatever it is that you do that is your sacred spiritual foundation. Because, to have that it's a real need. Everybody needs to have their center. That you need to be in your center in order to feel right with yourself. Otherwise, we're running around like a bunch of robots or a bunch of lizards. No lizards. Okay, Thursday morning, the moon is in Gemini at 6 a.m. And isn't it interesting how it came out exactly at 6 a.m.? Now, it is trining Pluto. So the square that we had earlier when it was in Taurus has now, there's something flowing and flowing very quickly to help you learn more about being in your own power. This is a very empowering transit. It could be that you're connected with some like-minded people and you guys are all learning a lot from each other today. This could be a really, really good day for any type of group interaction. A really good day for negotiating things. It could be a really wonderful day for, just being very objective with this combination of Gemini and Aquarius. But it's definitely a day for connecting the dots, bringing in more opportunities than ever. And then thinking it all through. So it might be with the moon in Gemini for the next 2.5 days. It very well could be that we are thinking a lot, and that is especially the case because now look how the Sun and Mercury are conjunct. Right, Mercury's retrograded back into the Sun, and so there's a tremendous amount of new information coming through. Mercury's the messenger. And now we have 4 squares up to Ceres because, Chiron's been there. This is that need for self-care. The Sun is shining a spotlight onto, new ways of thinking in order to take really good care of yourself. And so decisions, this could be a big day of getting all the information that you need in order to make some really good decisions, big decisions for your future. And you can see that Mars has moved over the other side of, it's on the other side now of Saturn, and it's moving towards, it's not conjunct yet, but we're moving towards Neptune. So Mars-Neptune, we'll talk about that later. So let's see, I'm not going to mess with that sesqui square there. The moon with the, it's a separating aspect, but Mars will be there soon. But with, for now, Neptune sextile the moon, this is a very spiritual opportunity here. So, wow, the moon connecting to Neptune and Pluto. Super, I would say, not super, well, super's okay, but better word would be powerfully spiritual. That is the hallmark of the day there. Okay, let's go to the 4 p.m. chart. The sun is exactly, I already talked about it, but I just want to say that at 4 p.m., the sun and Mercury are exactly conjunct. So I would not be surprised if Yeah, oh, and look at the connection there with Venus to the moon. Whew. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some big, big news dump this afternoon. And it may very well have to do with women's reproductive rights because of that connection to Venus. Oh, I would love it if some big breakthrough comes there. I do think it will with the transit of Ceres. And I talked about that in the Jupiter-Uranus chart in that reading. So let's go to Friday. Friday, the moon is at 13 degrees, and it is squaring both Saturn and Mars. Okay, so we're in that second decan with the moon, so we've learned something, we've intuited something, and now there's decision time, and we're kind of testing the limits. We're trying to figure out, well, if I did this, how would that work out? Or maybe you've been thinking that way, and now by today you're actually doing it, and you're wondering if it was the right decision. Well, you're going to find out later, but you can always, I mean, that's the only way that we learn is to try. We just have to keep trying. If it doesn't work, you'll try something else, and you will eventually find something that works. And that's one of the hallmarks with Mars and Saturn, but now with Mars on the other side, we have gotten some lesson there. And with both of those planets, we're in that second decan of learning lessons. And the moon is in the second decan, so learning lessons. Now, this could be the public, some decisions that the public is making because of some governmental figure that's doing whatever they're doing. And this doesn't have to just be one. This could be, because Saturn is the ruler of the government. So, yeah. And you can see Mercury has crossed back over the sun. Now they're starting to separate, and Mercury's going closely right back in towards Chiron. So just a reminder there that Mercury's going to go all the way back to 15 degrees. So it's going to party up with Chiron, which means thinking more about how your past wounding used to hold you back, but now you're clearing it all out, and you've got another little test coming in there. And we can look at life every day as just being a test to keep our hearts open, a test to be in our integrity, and there you go. But so Mercury will make it back to the conjuncting with the North Node, and so it's all about the future. It's all about moving forward with all that Aries energy. It's all about making new starts that keep you moving on your unique path to independence. It's all about being independent with Aries. But, with the polarity of Libra, we realize, like I've said before, that we're all interdependent on each other. But that doesn't mean that we have to put up with everybody. Right? Like if you've got that passive aggressive or that outright aggressive, or you've got that with that energy with somebody just rejecting and withdrawing all the time, even though you're there for them all the time, but then they just disappear, So, or maybe there's the emotional neediness that's just too much. Yeah. I mean, these are all hallmarks of having the South Node in Libra. We're working out relationship issues, and we're learning what keeps you centered and balanced, right? So neediness and energy vampires, that's too much of a pull. Okay, let's see. Covered that. The moon is trining the South Node, and this is an approaching trine, so, this afternoon especially, this is set for 5 a.m. So, yeah, so in the morning we have the square. I'm noticing my notes up here. We have the square to Saturn, but in the afternoon and the PM we have a sextile up here to Saturn and Mars, because the moon will be over this way. But meanwhile, we have the trine to the south node. So it is all about, there's a lot of talk about relationships. There's a lot of talk and thinking and intuiting. The whole public mood is thinking about justice and fairness and equality. This is what this day is going to be about. And then you can see how the moon is in that sextile to the north node. This is the aspect of the architect right here. So it is the public mood, the public opinion. This is learning new things. Those lessons. We are definitely in the stage of learning lessons and creating opportunities to move forward. You can't move forward unless you know. You can't really move forward and keep going in a certain direction unless you know something, right? You can just wander, right? You can wander. I'm thinking the Fool card in the tarot just popped in my head. It's like, of course you can. You can even jump off a cliff if you want, but that's not going to be lasting. At some point, even if you're just wandering, you're going to come to a fork in the road and you're going to have to choose which way to go, right? That's what Gemini is all about. It can be very diplomatic, where you're thinking about which way to go. You're making objective opinions and decisions there. The only way you can mess it up, and I would say this would be because of the square here. The only way you can mess it up with the Gemini, transit, especially with the moon, actually, would be to lie, would be to confuse other people, would be to pull the wool over their eyes, to be very cold and just, not connected to the heart, because they're connected with the mind. If somebody's just connected with the mind, and with the square to Saturn, this would be a government official or somebody that's just cut off from the heart, and they want what they want, and maybe what they want to do is just grift some more. This could even, I don't know why Elon Musk popped into my head. There could be some news that comes out about him. Yeah, there's that very real possibility. So anyway, with Gemini, we have to be careful of shell games and subterfuge, obfuscation, and which just covers up, things, right? And we have to be careful about deceiving ourselves, right? Yeah, especially with that double square going on there. So people that are gullible and just want to listen or look or pay attention to only what makes what feeds their current belief system. Well, in the future, that may change with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, because things will be blowing up for people who've been stuck. Something will come to a head. Yeah, that's good there. Let's move forward. Saturday, I have two charts for today. This one I ran it for 7:46 a.m. because I have the moon at that 28 degrees of Gemini squaring 28 degrees of Neptune. And again, there we are with the confusion and the trying to make sense of it all. Is somebody lying? Is somebody grifting? Is somebody, until the dude's gone, it's not ABC, always be closing with him. It's always be grifting. So, grifting and golfing, right? But there's some big lies coming out here that we are going to be, for those of us who are very sensitive, so I'm speaking now to, in case you're listening and not watching, I'm speaking to Neptune and Pisces at that 28 degrees. It's only one more, we have not too long before we'll be at that 29th degree, which is that anaretic degree, which is very intense. So we have a lot of intense focus on compassion and taking care of people that are that can't take care of themselves, and feeling, and this has to do with immigration as well. Maybe that's what the lie is about. Maybe he's doing some more of the old, what is it? His speeches are like bloodbaths. It's going to be a bloodbath if I don't win this election. God. So it could be more of that blathering on. But it's bumping up against people who have just had it, people who are so done. And but then there's something else. It's not just that. There's something else that's going to come out, and we are trying to digest it and respond to it at this this early morning hour. Maybe this is a lot of people who work so darn hard that they don't have time to listen to the news much at all during the week, but Saturday morning they get a lot in, and then it's just like, whoa, okay, this is too much. And so decisions, because squares bring in the challenges that lead to a decision, or not making a decision is still a decision, and puts you it doesn't put you in a place of power. So there's that. But with all the Piscean energy here, and especially Neptune and Pisces, I mean, this is our planet of source, connected to your source, your spiritual source. It's also the planet of just being very gullible. It's also, escapism, addictions, right? So, yeah. And it has the power to dissolve. Neptune dissolves whatever it touches. So, this doesn't bode well for people who are very gullible, or people who are in addictive situations. But with the square to the moon, there's opportunity there to make a new decision. Always making, that's a possibility every moment, to make a new choice. On the good side, Neptune in Pisces brings through a lot of spirituality and art and music and devotion and psychic powers, empathic abilities. It's just, you have to be careful about getting sucked into, because with the moon in Gemini, this could be somebody that just really has to talk to you today. And with Mercury and the Sun together in Aries, and all of last week, I think we were feeling this, and this week too. Some people would just, like that verbal diarrhea, where they're not taking you in. It's not an equal exchange of energy. You're just there so that they can have something to talk at, right? So it could be something like this, and then maybe you're very sensitive and empathic, and you're on the other end of it, and you're like, okay, don't have time anymore, goodbye. It's just too much, because at that 28 degrees of Gemini, Okay, let's go to the next chart. So by 10:45 a.m., the moon is now in Cancer, very, very sensitive Cancer. And it is now squaring Neptune, right? And then you can see the quincunx in conjunct up to Pluto, and that will be exact at 2:26 p.m. So all late morning and into the late afternoon, it's all about deepening your sensitivities, your psychic abilities. There will be adjustments made to who you engage with because of, the inconjunct up to Pluto, because you're sensitive as to who are the energy vampires that suck your power away. Who are the people who, and I'm only talking about the negative side of, Pluto and Aquarius. Who are the people who, for now I'm only talking about that. Who are the people who are cut off from their hearts? Who are the people who are bigots? Who are the people who are racist? Who are the people who are cut off from humanity in a way that they don't care, right? And it can be quite shocking when you figure out, oh my goodness, I never knew this person was like this, right? And they've got a lot of opinions, and you're over here on the receiving end going, oh God, I had no idea. And so there's another adjustment that has to be made. Now, on the good side, this could be finally finding somebody that you can emotionally grow with, and it's very empowering for both of you. So there's an adjustment made in the relationship because both Pluto and the moon, especially when the moon's in Cancer, is connected to growth, soul growth. Pluto is literally the planet of evolving your soul, the soul's evolution, the journey of your soul. And with the inconjunct to the moon, you really, really want that. You're connecting the dots, and you're really wanting to free your soul. The positive side of Aquarius is all about freedom. And, on the negative side, this could be somebody who's too rebellious for good, for any good thing to happen. But on the positive side, we're talking liberation and freedom. This could also be a scientific breakthrough that is intuitively made. This could be, if you've been studying astrology, this could be, whoa, now you really get the energy of the planets. It's not in your head anymore. You can feel it, right? Like when I talk about the sun, you feel something different than when I talk about Mercury. Right? So that's very empowering and freeing because it's, what's that word? Grok. You grok it. It's very different. So there's a lot of possibilities with that lineup there. Let's see. Mercury's going closer to Chiron. So again, revisiting those old wounds or trauma, but maybe it's not. Maybe now the gifts are coming through, and it's really helping you to connect with the past. And there's healing energy that can come through there. Now the moon squaring Neptune is still there, but it's separating, because it's a waning aspect now. So I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. So let's go to the Sunday chart. And this one, boy, check that out. The moon's coming in at 11 degrees. I had to put the chart at 8:24 a.m., Sunday the 14th, to bring in the focus of this grand cross, 2 squares, right? 2 T-squares. So Ceres has been squaring the nodes. And now, of course, or this last week, so actually week before even, it started squaring Chiron. And the sun was involved last week. Now the sun has moved forward. The sun is still is coming into square with Pluto. So again, things coming through in the news, people in the spotlight being shining in new ways, being shown in new areas when it comes to people abusing their power. I keep thinking Elon Musk again. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I could be off, but Ceres is coming into a tighter square. The orb is tightening up with Chiron. So again, it's still the focus all week is about self-care and stocking up in food. Things like that. Just start thinking of all the things. Well, everybody is. If you're in it doesn't matter if you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, it's springtime, and we're rearranging and cleaning, and still that we're organizing. And with the moon in Cancer, it would have to do with the home, especially with the moon opposing Ceres. it's 11 degrees here, but every, couple hours, it's going to, more and more and more, this will tighten up. This is just the morning. So the whole day on Sunday has everything to do with security and safety and everything around the home. And with that opposition, there can be major breakthroughs in some very concrete ways to create more security and safety and a home that is full of, it's like your sanctuary, is what I'm feeling. And with the T-square up here with the nodes involving also Chiron, Mercury connecting, all of these are tightening up more and more, even though it'll run into next week. We're thinking in new ways that can bring through our gifts. And with the sun, I should have talked about that yesterday. The sun conjunct Eris. Just suffice to say that this week, because the sun being up here and then moving more and more towards Eris, and I missed it when it was really close, but now it's on the other side, so it's all about more and more courage, being more and more brave to stand up for yourself, to go for what you want. Remember, Eris is our feminine counterpart to Pluto, and she's also looked at as being, Mars's sister, Mars and Pluto's sister. She's the feminine struggle for equality. So, yeah. And the nodes in Aries to Libra, it's all about equality. Okay, so the moon squaring the south node of the past, it has to do with movement. Now remember, what we've got going on here with this Grand Cross is a lot of movement-oriented energy, because these are all cardinal signs. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are our cardinal signs. Cardinal means movement-oriented. Starting something, initiating something, being very ambitious about something, being really enthusiastic about something, and maybe even being a little driven about something. So if there's trouble with this Grand Cross, it could be that you're just kind of pushy today and you really want to get something done and nobody else wants to do it. That could happen. But hey, maybe you'll have somebody in your family that's doing all the cooking for you and they won't make too big of a mess, and then that way you can clean the garage or whatever, however that works out. Or it might be that it's all on you and you want to do it all in one day, but your body won't let you, So you take care of yourself, because the series up here in Capricorn is most of all, take care of yourself. Capricorn rules the bones, rules the whole skeletal system, and that includes all of our connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, all of that. Yeah. So, and with the square to Aries, all this Aries energy, with Aries ruling the head, you want to make sure you get enough water in you, especially when the moon's in a water sign. Sometimes you don't feel like you need as much water. Well, you still do. You just make sure that, you get the water in so you don't get a headache. The moon in Cancer, you want to, with the square, to Libra and Aries, you're going to be intuiting things coming in from the past. That's why I was thinking about, it could have to do with cleaning the garage, because you're dealing with crap from the past and you're trying to figure out where you want it to go in the future. And it might be a big old recycling extravaganza. It's something to do with the home. If it's not your home, it would be your family. Could be their home. It could be getting them into a new home. It could be taking care of them in their home. It's, both the polarity of the moon in Cancer and then Ceres. We're dealing with nurturing and caring, and especially everything related to the feminine. So, yeah. Well, I think that's it, actually. Everything else I've already spoken to. We've had this. Well, it's almost exact now, but I'll end it with this. With a couple of things here. With Saturn, with the inconjunct to the South Node that we've had, it is all about, that spiritual foundation and creating that bridge to your guides and your guardian angels. I mean, if you've meditated for years and you already have that deep connection with them, you'll feel them all the time. You'll know when you're getting guidance, because it'll be something that you wouldn't think of on your own, and it'll be consistent, and you're grateful, and then you don't have to meditate as long as, unless you want to, but they love it when you sit down to play with them. So it could be the deepening of that kind of relationship, or an adjustment there. Could literally be, like I was saying earlier, a physical relationship where you can't handle all the, the victimizing, I'm the victim kind of a thing, but they don't make any changes and they just want you to give, and you can't do it anymore. It could be something like that finally breaks free, and that especially could bring in that grand cross energy here. Now, Venus moving closer and closer to the North Node. I'll cover that next week, but suffice to say that we're all headed in the direction of thinking about, whether you're male or female, but thinking about all the ways that you can empower the feminine and bringing in that unity there that can help create more independence for women. Venus, it wants to be in harmony. Venus wants to make those comparison values, because it's something that matters to you, and Venus rules our relationships. So we're all headed in the direction of new relationships, or a new phase in an old relationship. Yeah. So, okay, well, that's it. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope you have a really wonderful week. Okay, bye.